Mientras yo esté ahí, ellos son la presa. Y yo, el cazador.
About the PvP, we will have the possibility to record or watch replays, or maybe an spectator mode.
Right now, we do not do replay recording. We would like to. But since PvP is not our primary feature set, it's one of those things. It's on the list of things we could do. It may or may not make it based on whether other things hold priority. Generally, we focus on PvE features before PvP. So, but if we can, we will.
Okay. And we will have new content via patches or only with expansions?
You will. We're not. We haven't really looked into our post-release kind of content plans, but I would expect us to do big, content patch updates like World of Warcraft or like MMO. I'm sure we will do some content updates, as we can, but they'll likely be smaller. Probably something more similar to how Star 2 sometimes does content updates to their patches. And they definitely, it's not something we'll consider to be like on a schedule, or that we'll do it based on need, or based on, hey, we built this thing that we think is really cool that we want to put out now. We don't want to wait for an expansion. So I'm sure we will do some things, but we don't have any formal plans.
Okay. What is?
I was just going to say, is there any determination of how you match up players? I mean, right now you have pretty much automatically everybody's essentially equipped about the same for the test. But when the game actually comes out, is it going to be something that you queue in and then it matches people as close to the level?
Yeah, essentially, we haven't built the matchmaking yet, but we have a lot of experience with matchmaking from World of Warcraft and from StarCraft 2. And what we found is that generally the best way to do it is to look at levels and then do a hidden skill ranking. So the skill ranking is usually sufficient, because even if there's a vast difference in gear, then that shows up in their skill ranking. So we tend to just look at those things or at least that's what we've talked about for Diablo 3 as to what we're going to look at. And you'll be able to go in with like organized teams, or you'll just be able to say, I just want to play and match me with other people as my teammates.
I wasn't expecting the PvP thing. It's cool. Definitely didn't see that coming.
Cool. I'm glad we finally surprised someone.
I think we have enough time for 3 more questions.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, I'm so sorry that people are asking so many Diablo questions.
So, how many levels will have the artisans?
Right now they have 5 that we visualize, and then they also have a mastery path. And the mastery path is really several different kind of tangents that they can go down. They're not exclusive, but an example would be if you really liked swords, and then you could focus your blacksmith on swords. And the idea is that's kind of more of an end game for crafting, where he can make pretty good swords, but now I want you to make ridiculous good swords because I love swords and I want one of the best swords in the game. So then you can spend kind of a longer time, getting that specialty. But if you change your mind halfway down the road and say, oh, I really like axes, you can do that too, and he won't lose his sword specialty. So eventually you could actually work them all up if you wanted, but it's optional.
Okay. And inside the same act, there will be several secure areas, like towns, secure areas.
Yeah, there will definitely be. I don't know whether there'll be several. Some of the acts do have
A couple.
I mean, we do have usually a main kind of town that we work out of, but every act's a little different. And one of the things we've tried to do is make Diablo 3 make the world feel more like a real world, or less like a randomly generated maze. So while there's a lot of random generated, we try to do enough kind of in placement and also enough things that aren't just a big area full of monsters. So there are other towns to visit and save and other human settlements kind of that you can run across as you play through the game.
One more question. Anybody?
Yeah, I hope.
I've got one. Earlier.
All right. I think that's all the
One
time
more?
that we have. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
If you want to
Okay, thank you.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, one more.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us more about how the scenario and physics will affect the strategy to defeat certain enemies?
So I understood the word physics, but was it scenarios?
The scenario and the physics.
Okay. The scenery. Okay, I understand. You know, when we did the announcement, we had the collapsing wall. It collapsed and it killed a bunch of skeletons, and everybody loved it. And really, like, for us, it was like a real minor feature. Like, it was just that we made this destructible object and it collapsed and it just looked like it should hurt things, so we made it hurt things. And we were a bit surprised by how strong the reaction was to it. So we went into the game and we put a whole bunch of cool, what we thought were cool things in there that would do similar types of things, like more collapsing walls and barrels that, you know, roll out and hurt things, and chandeliers that collapse on stuff. And what we found was that a lot of that stuff wasn't really that cool, that it was kind of hard to use and clunky and distracting, and that it just wasn't that much fun. And so the level designers did the natural thing that you would do when they discovered that, which was they increased the number of them by like a factor of 20, which just made them super not fun. So I've been like hitting them with sticks for like 6 months now, trying to get them to pull them back. So that kind of stuff's probably not going to be a huge impact on the overall strategy, because it's generally more awkward than it is to just flat out kill something. And it's generally a lot more fun to just flat out kill it. Occasionally, they will impact, they'll be there, and you'll happen to hit a wall, and so it's a fun moment when it happens, but it feels really bad when it's forced, and so we're being very careful not to force it. In terms of physics, it's almost kind of a different question, because we actually do have physics-based projectiles in the game. The grenades that we showed on the Demon Hunter are an example of that, and those can actually, the farther away from her you click, the farther she throws them. So you can actually ping those things around corners and do all kinds of cool tricks with them. So in that case, physics actually has a big impact.
Great.
Is there going to be Murlocs in D3?
What's?
Murlocs.
Murlocs in Diablo 3? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
But wait,
That was in this class for Diablo.
Dude!
sorry. That's kind of exclusive.
Thank you, guys.
A secret Murloc level, maybe? A secret cow level?
Aquí estoy. Y mientras sigan llegando, nunca dejaré de matar.